Hello and welcome to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. I'm Sarah Willis, and today we're talking about how to protect yourself from real estate investment fraud. Okay, so we all know if you're here, real estate investment is often considered a pretty safe and can be a lucrative wealth building tool, right? But with every financial opportunity where people see a chance to make some big money, it is definitely important to be vigilant and informed to protect yourself from potential fraud. It's a big thing in this industry. So scammers will target, doesn't matter whether you're new or experienced, you are not immune. Scammers target everybody. They use a range of deceptive tactics to take advantage of people who are unsuspecting or just naive or haven't been made aware with videos like this. So if you can understand some common fraud schemes and know how to safeguard your investments, you can minimize your risk from making informed decisions. Real estate investment fraud occurs when individuals or groups deceive investors for a financial gain. That is pretty much the definition of what real estate investment fraud is. And it's often through providing misleading information, bringing fake properties to market, or acting as an agent when you're unlicensed. And these different scams can result in financial losses for you as an investor, brings you legal issues, expensive legal and stressful legal issues, and can cause long-term damage to your credit score or reputation. So some of the most common types of real estate fraud include Ponzi or pyramid schemes. So scammers tend to promise high returns with little risk by pooling funds from new investors to pay returns on earlier ones rather than investing in real assets. So if somebody is overpromising you and it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Another common type of fraud is fake property listings. Fraudsters advertise non-existent or already owned properties and then will try and sell them to you, collect your deposit, and then disappear. So again, this is another reason to use a legal professional to do the research for you and actually make sure the property you're buying is legitimate, right? Title fraud. So scammers illegally obtain property titles. They can forge documents to sell or mortgage properties without the owner's consent. And then finally, foreclosure fraud. So in desperate situations, homeowners who are facing foreclosure might be preyed upon with fake offers from these people. So if you're in a situation where you're desperate and somebody is approaching you to buy your home, of course, do your research, because you could lose your home or equity to somebody who is not legitimately actually going to give you money for it. Different red flags to watch out for are, being able to recognize these warning signs, can help you avoid for falling victim to these different fraudsters' tactics. And some different red flags to keep in mind are if someone promises you a guaranteed return, that would be a red flag to me, right? No legitimate real estate investment can guarantee returns, especially those that seem too good to be true. So high returns, low risk, probably a sign of a scam, right? If someone is pressuring you to act quickly, scammers often create urgency. They pressure you to make hasty decisions without proper due diligence. Real estate, time is always of the essence, sure, and properties that are popular or priced well, yeah, we're gonna encourage you to move quickly, but definitely be wary and ask questions of anyone pushing you to invest without allowing time for proper research, or if it's someone that you don't know and trust already. Unlicensed agents or companies. So always verify the credentials of real estate agents, brokers, and investment firms. Scammers might pose as professionals, but actually they lack proper licensing. Lack of transparency. If details about the property are unclear, the investment process or financial structure are vague or incomplete, this is a major red flag, right? So legitimate investments will provide clear and detailed information. If you're looking for something that you can't find, it's probably, again, too good to be true. Next one, red flag. Requests for payments through unusual methods. So avoid making payments to people that you don't know through wire transfers, gift cards, or other non-traditional methods, because these can be difficult to trace and are often used by scammers, and your money just goes away and you can't get it back. Things you can do to protect yourself from real estate fraud include: do your research. So before investing in any real estate opportunity, conduct thorough research on the property, the individuals involved in it, and the investment company that you're working with. So look for reviews, check with local real estate boards, and search for any legal or financial issues that might have arisen on this property or these individuals prior, right? So the more you know, the better you can protect yourself. Next one is to verify the property and title. This is why we have escrow. This is why we have title officers. This is why we have licensed professionals. One of the most effective ways to avoid real estate fraud is to ensure the property in question is actually legitimate. And this includes a title search. So this is when we're hiring the title company to do legitimate and thorough tracing of the exchange of title through this property, and ensure it's legally owned by the seller and that it's free of liens and other claims that could cause it to, have a cloud on title. Property inspections. You always want to visit the property in person or hire an independent inspector or representative to assess the condition. Fraudsters often take property listings or manipulate photos to lure investors, so you don't want to buy something sight unseen unless you're working with a licensed, trusted individual as your boots on the ground, whether that is your real estate agent or property manager. As we just said, always working with licensed professionals like certified real estate agents, brokers, and attorneys, and verify our credentials through professional organizations or licensing boards to ensure they're legitimate. It just takes a simple search. In Oregon, for example, real estate license lookup, you can look up the license, search person's name, and see that they are legitimate or not. And these people that you're working with that are actually licensed and legitimate are the ones that you can trust to help you navigate your contracts, your transactions, and negotiations in a safe way. You want to make sure you use secure payment processes when you are paying for your real estate investments. So traditional and traceable methods such as escrow services, yes, you have to wire through escrow, but you are double checking all of these wire instructions as you go along. Escrow holds your funds securely and in a non-biased way until the conditions of the sale and contracts are met. So if there's a dispute, escrow is there to be your unbiased third party. Of course, as we already talked about, you're going to want to avoid wire transfers or payments to third-party accounts or individuals. That can be difficult to recover if fraud is in fact discovered. So that's why escrow is so important to use. And you're going to want to request detailed documentation. So insist on full disclosures and request detailed documentation about the investment. This is why we have seller's property disclosures. This is why we have investment property addendums with lots of different information that, if it's an investment property, that we are entitled to ask for and review as part of the research process. And again, another reason to use an experienced realtor a realtor's experience in investment properties in particular. So legitimate sellers and agents are going to make sure that this information is provided. Things like deeds, titles, appraisals, contracts, profit and loss statements, things like that. And then it's your job as the investor and the buyer to review all the documents carefully and then have them vetted by a legal professional if you feel the need. Finally, be wary of unregistered investment opportunities. So if you're considering investing in a real estate opportunity that's not listed or registered with relevant government agencies, proceed with caution. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's a scam necessarily, or it's not going to work out for you. But again, it's just another one of those hoops and things that you want to make sure that you are carefully jumping through, because they're not necessarily, if you're buying it off market or with an unregistered agent, it's not subject to the same regulations and consumer protections. And you don't have to provide the same detailed documentation doing it without an unregistered agent, which can leave you more vulnerable to fraud as well. You might get a better deal, but there's more likely that, there's fraud involved. What to do if you suspect fraud. So if you think that you've been taken advantage of, obviously you're going to want to take immediate action to protect your financial interest, right? So first thing you can do is contact law enforcement, report any suspected fraud to local authorities or the FBI if it involves, interstate activities like things that you've, gone across state lines. You're, of course, going to want to notify your bank and credit card company if you've made any payments through those methods. You're going to want to contact your financial institution to try and stop, reverse the transaction, or, obviously just file a report specifically with them so it's documented. And finally, consult with a real estate attorney. A legal professional can provide you with guidance on how to recover your losses or navigate any legal consequences that might result as, from being taken advantage of. So the point here is to stay informed, stay protected. We all love real estate investing as an opportunity to increase wealth and our assets. But again, where there's money to be made, you can certainly count on there being scammers and fraudulent individuals there to try and take advantage of you. So protect yourself through awareness, through videos and blogs like this, research, and using a cautious approach. So, you want to make sure that you're working with individuals like Suzanne and myself who are trained to identify these red flags and then also help guide you through a transaction that you are going to do all your proper diligence on. So aside from that, there's a lot to be said for trusting your instincts. If something feels off, it's worth investigating further before committing to any investment or anything in particular. We hope you learned something today. Thank you for watching. When you need help and guidance anywhere in real estate investing, Suzanne and I are well connected, and we would love to have a conversation with you and help however we can. See you on the next video.